Hi, welcome to this parent launch of Look, Say, Sing, Play, delivered in partnership with City of York Council and the NSPCC. We're really pleased to see you this morning. My name's Helen Westerman and I work at the NSPCC, and I'm joined today by Geraldine Jackson, who will introduce herself a bit later on.
Morning.
So we're going to show you a presentation with some films, and there is an opportunity for you to ask questions in the chat function, which we'll look at the end of the session and hopefully be able to answer. We hope you're going to find the session really informative, and should you require any additional help and support either during the session or after the session, please contact the NSPCC helpline on 0808 800 5000. So I want to start by giving you a bit of an overview about the campaign, and then we're going to talk in a little bit more detail about each of the Look, Say, Sing, Play elements. The Look, Say, Sing, Play approach is based on supporting new parents to give their children the best start in life, knowing as we do that early experiences during early years play a unique role in shaping our babies' brains. The reality is that becoming a new parent is a life-changing time, and we know that particularly during the pandemic, it's been both wonderful and additionally stressful becoming a new parent, and it's filled with highs and lows. You're learning so much whilst also wanting to do the best to help your child's development. The good news is that there are many of the little things that you're doing already helping your child, perhaps more than you know, and there's a lot of opportunities to turn everyday moments into brain building ones. And that's really what Look, Say, Sing, Play is all about. Simple, fun activities that fit into your daily routine and support your child's development as you strengthen your bond with a new little person in your life. The range of activities we've used are enabled through a partnership with Room, which is an evidence-based US public health initiative. And Room have developed over 2,000 tips, and these are part of the Look, Say, Sing, Play resources. All the tips come with some science background to help explain how the little things that you do every day can help build your baby's brain. So moving on to look at Look, Say, Sing, Play then. Basically, what we're talking about here is all the little things you can do to help build your baby's brain every day. Whether it's at bath time, bedtime, or you're washing up, playing with your baby, using silly voices, or even singing, you can build their brain right from birth. I'm now going to show you a little video.
How are you building your baby's brain? See what they're doing and join in.
Where's the blue fish?
Yeah. Repeat the words and build their brain.
Oh.
Sing or hum. It doesn't matter how good you are.
You're happy and you know it, clap your hand.
Taking turns and having fun. You don't need special toys. Just play with what's inside. Every day and every night. You're building your baby's brain right from birth. Look, say, sing, play. Sign up for weekly tips and activities.
So now let's go through each element. So we're on Look. Brain building all starts with taking a cue from your child, noticing what they're focusing on and how they react to it. So you can look to see what they find interesting or funny, copy and react to what they do. If they blink, you blink. If they look left, you look left. Making eye contact is an important part of learning to pay attention to and interact with others. If your child responds when you make a face, you can build on their response. You can think of it a bit like a game of tennis, going back and forth between the two of you. Every time you're helping them learn the back and forth of communication and relationships, building connections in their brain. So let's take a look at a film with an example in this.
I can see you. Be careful you don't get dizzy. You found it.
So this is what we call the copycat, that simple interaction where you're focusing on your child and mirroring what they do. Something you're probably doing without even realizing, but actually this is helping them to focus, learn about emotions and expressions. Moving on to say. You'll be used to babbling along with your baby, and this chatter isn't just fun for you both, but is a really great way to build their brain throughout the day. Even talking about simple actions as you do them is a great place to start. It helps them to begin to learn words because they're making connections between words and what they represent, a key element of being able to talk. You can try adding silly voices and use expressions to bring your words to life. Changing the sounds helps them pay careful attention to the differences between sounds, another great way to start learning language. And here's a little film.
What is this?
This is a plastic bottle. Well done. Blah, blah, blah. No. Oh.
So shopping isn't always the easiest thing to do with a little one. So this trolley activity where you're talking to your child about what they see and hear can only help keep them amused and happy, but it's also a key way that they learn to make sense of experiences, learn words and what they mean. Moving on to sing. Now, I'm sure there'll be those amongst you who enjoy a good sing and those that probably don't, but this really isn't about how great you sound or really even what you sing. You may be familiar with nursery rhymes or prefer to sing along to your favourite tunes. You can even change words to fit what you're doing at the time. When we sing, we slow down our speech and stretch out sounds, pronouncing them more clearly. Singing not only engages your child's attention, but it helps them to hear the sounds of the words more clearly. This is the beginning of learning to speak and how to communicate with you. So let's take a look at an example. So this activity is one way that you can just adapt a song to fit what you're doing, in this case, getting dressed. Children learn best when they're interested, so singing the song gives them a chance to interact and hopefully get dressed in the process. For younger babies, it might be that you just sing about what you're doing. It all helps. And finally, play. Just like the other elements we've discussed, this is about playful moments you can enjoy throughout the day. You don't need toys or to spend time setting up activities, just bring play into what you're doing. Whether you're playing peekaboo or mucking about with bubble bath, your child is learning to focus on listening to your words and draw on what they already know to play the game with you, which strengthens their memory. Here's some play in action. And here's a really lovely example of play.
Good boy.
Top tip. Place your baby on their back and dangle safe household items like measurement spoons just out of their reach.
Encourage them to follow the object with their eyes and head to reach them.
Comment on how hard they try. You almost touched the spoon. Let's go and find some things for you to play with. See this belly. There's a big one as well.
That's right. eyes.
Richard, are you trying to touch it with the spoon? Go on. Go on. Yeah.
You clever boy.
Clever, yeah. Bit like you.
Well done. Well done.
In this activity, your baby is practicing controlling their body to look at or reach for a spoon.
When you encourage this kind of behaviour, you're helping them build their brain and develop important skills like focus, self-control and persistence.
So I didn't realise it had quite an impact on their brain and development.
Rex loved grabbing and trying to reach for all of the objects.
I think that this activity could actually be done anywhere, as there's always something to reach for, especially if you're carrying your baby around.
It's so tempting just to give a baby a toy or an item like this rather than actually get them to reach out and grab it. So it's definitely something we'll do more of.
This is definitely an activity that I will train again.
NSPCC, look, say, sing, play.
There's hundreds of fun ideas like this one.
Search NSPCC Brain Building to sign up for fun weekly tips to try.
And so that really is how simple it is. I'm sure that many of the elements mentioned here are already part of your day in some way. And just by doing these things, you're making a huge impact on your child's development. As new parents with so much going on, it can sometimes feel hard to think of new things to do or to feel like what we're doing is enough. But the science behind this tells us how much your baby's brain is benefiting from all the little things you do each day. And for the days when perhaps you're stuck for ideas or want to try something new, there are resources to help. So as mentioned, you can sign up to receive weekly email tips tailored to the age of your child and with a science bit to explain how it helps your child's development. And you can also follow NSPCC on social media. We regularly share Look, Say, Sing, Play information and tips via our Facebook and Instagram pages. So I'm now going to hand over to Geraldine.
Thanks, Helen. My name's Geraldine Jackson. I'm a senior educational psychologist at City of York Council, and I manage the specialist early years support team. I also have 4 children of my own, so I do have some experience of babies, children and parenting. So this morning I'm going to present some slides on baby brain development, the importance of touch and positive adult parental social interaction. It's just a brief introduction, but hopefully you will gain a clear understanding of the importance of positive relationships in the earliest years and the impact on future life outcomes for your children. Thank you. So we're going to look in this video at serve and return. It talks about the kind of interactions that can really help build brains. So you will have an understanding as a parent that we need to spend time with our child in order to bond with them. If we think of interactions with our babies or children as a tennis match where one person serves the ball and the other returns, the serve and return metaphor explains really simply the need to be attuned to what your child is thinking and doing in order for you to return their serve, and that these quality interactions with your child are meaningful and timely.
The key to forming strong brain architecture . The key to forming strong brain architecture is what's known as serve and return interaction with adults. In this developmental game, new neural connections form in the brain as young children instinctively serve through babbling, facial expressions, and gestures. And adults return the serve, responding in a very directed, meaningful way. It starts very early in life when a baby coos and the adult interacts and directs the baby's attention to a face or hand. This interaction forms the foundation of brain architecture upon which all future development will be built. It helps create neural connections between all the different areas of the brain, building the emotional and cognitive skills children need in life. For example, here's how it works for literacy and language skills. When the baby sees an object, the adult says its name. This makes connections in the baby's brain between particular sounds and their corresponding objects. Later, adults show young children that those objects and sounds can also be represented by marks on a page. With continued support from adults, children then learn how to decipher writing and eventually to write themselves. Each stage builds on what came before. Ensuring that children have adult caregivers who consistently engage and serve and return interaction, beginning in infancy, builds a foundation in the brain for all the learning, behavior, and health that follow.
So this slide highlights the rapid growth of the brain in the earliest years and how crucial this is and how the brain wires up. So the chart on this slide is from Savage 1999, Growth of the Brain After Birth, and it demonstrates a huge burst of growth during the first 5 years and peaks of growth again around age 7 and then adolescence. You can see that at birth, the brain is 25% of its final size and that 90% of all brain growth is in the first 5 years of life. So those minute by minute, everyday experiences the birth to 2-year-olds are experiencing have far more impact than we often realise as parents. Some of those windows of opportunity reopen again during adolescence as there is another period of brain growth and development around the teenage years. So that teenage brain is in a similar state of rapid development and disorganisation. It's important to note the concept of neuroplasticity when looking at brain development. So the brain is an amazing organ. It's able to continue to develop throughout life. So just because we might have missed some opportunities or experiences in the early years does not mean that the brain is unable to make new connections with positive experiences and relationships later on. It can just be a bit more difficult and takes more energy. The video on the next slide reinforces the message of the billions of neurons that we are born with that make strong connections when the interactions are repeated over time. Weaker connections are removed and pruned away.
As we said, a baby is born with 100 billion neurons. But those quadrillion connections, they're not there yet. Those connections form at a very rapid speed during the first 5 years of life, at 700 to 1,000 new synapses per second. Those connections are created through every interaction a child has and are important because they form the architecture of the brain. So every time you talk to and engage with a child, you are literally growing a brain, connecting the different parts of the brain, which allows for new ideas, insights, and creative thinking. So each moment of eye contact, each new word exchanged, each time you make a child laugh, you are strengthening these connections.
Just give you a minute to have a look at this last slide. It's just a little reminder that the technological world we live in does not always allow for real live social interaction, but instead relies much more on social media and the virtual world. But the reciprocal turn-taking of social interaction between you as a parent and your child is absolutely key to growing a healthy brain.
Thanks, Geraldine. We're now going to show you a lovely little film that was developed in partnership with a couple of local parents in York and the Family Learning Early Start course. These parents had been on the course and they talk about their own experiences of using Look, Say, Sing, Play. Hi, Angie.
Hello.
You okay?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. We've got Mick here already. That's excellent.
It's good. Good. I think we've got Natalie joining us.
Yay.
Good to hear
Hi,
you.
Natalie.
I've got 3 daughters, Sophie, Lily and Iris.
That's all good. Jack's 6, Holly's 4. I've got Joshua 3, who's sort of there to work, a baby in bed, who's 1. Lucas.
My middle one, Lily, who's 5, is really struggling with speech, and it's basically behind not where she should be, where other children her age are. And her speech is improving because Iris's is improving. So in concentrating on Iris, Lily's catching up as well because they're playing together and picking stuff up, you know, together. So
I wish it had been around with my two babies, because whilst I am quite sing-songy, I don't know if that comes from being a primary school teacher maybe. I think just if I'd known from before they were even born that it was going to be so powerful, just singing and being more child-led, so looking at what it is that they're focused on as babies, and then what they're starting to show interest in as they get bigger. I would have done it a lot more, and I think it would have really just helped me through what's really difficult.
Did you know that all of this kind of stuff that you're doing with them, Play-Doh, the singing, helps build your child's brain?
Well, I do now. I mean, I did a little bit before, but I don't think until somebody sits you down and actually tells you, you don't realise. I do definitely recommend it. I think it's definitely where for parents to go to and just see what you can do with your children.
I think that's really honest, because I think, like you said, with your third child, you kind of think, oh well, I've done that before, and they'll just actually. And we want this to reach every new parent, because actually you don't know what you don't know, do you? And on the, you know, those difficult days, actually, you just may be feeling, well, what do I do now? What do I do with my child today, just to keep them entertained, or, you know, just to help the hours pass? So actually, all of these activities can really help with that.
So it's all child-led, so it's almost giving you a permission to sit back and not plan loads of stuff and just watch what they're interested in and go with it and sing about it or play a game around it. And that's what I loved about it. It's so simple and so easy. Anybody can do it anytime, anywhere.
We walk down the street singing the Watch the Road or something. We have a little song we do where, you know, Sophie, watch the road, you know, and things like that. And look, we do it as we go along, and I'm sure people think I'm showing mad or something, but you know, it works. And you know, getting an autistic girl to be aware and watch the road, you know, and the singing thing helps her because she sings it back to me, and
that's how all of the kind of singing, the interactive stuff can really help make a difficult situation just slightly better for you both.
Yeah, it does work. Yeah, it works really well.
Brilliant.
We find everything difficult at the minute, getting them ready, getting them up out of bed, getting them sit down for meal time, everything. So I think I'll take all the help I can get.
It's just been good to come along every week and get ideas, because sometimes we're a bit lost, you know.
I know when I first started going, me and Joshua were sort of, I don't know how to word this. I wouldn't say we weren't close, but we weren't, he didn't want to sit and play. He didn't want to sit and play with me. I didn't really know how to sort of engage with the child that didn't want to play with me. So I just left him to play on his own or do whatever he was doing. I would definitely recommend it for other parents. Well, we can sit and play now all day, so it's definitely been worthwhile.
Do you know, Natalie, that was such a lovely quote, because, you know, the bond thing is something that does come out of this, and that's what we want other parents to get. And it's not always easy, and it doesn't always come naturally. So it's just really lovely to hear that actually this has helped cement that a bit. Okay, so thanks to Natalie and Mick, the parents that featured in that film. So where can you go for more information? Well, on the City of York Council website, you can go to www.york.gov.uk/LSSP for more information. And remember that the NSPCC's helpline is there for any parents that might want to talk through any of what you've heard about today, or for extra help and support. And the number for that is 0808 800 5000. So a huge thank you to you for joining us today. I hope the session has given you some insights in how everyday moments can have a really wonderful impact on your child's development, and that really you already have everything you need. Your voice and your face are your child's favourite playthings. And so there are just 3 things that I'd like to encourage you to do in the next few days. Try out one of our tips at home. 2, sign up to the weekly email so that you have tips tailored to your child's age at hand whenever you want them. And 3, perhaps you can share the tips with other parents and urge them to look at the pages on City of York Council website. Thank you for taking the time to join Geraldine and I today. Geraldine, I'm not sure if we've had any questions.
No questions as yet.
Fantastic. Okay, that's fine. So if we have any questions after, we'll put the answers in the chat box. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.